Hello from the Andes in Peru. I am showing up here with a very juicy topic which has a potential to impact not only our sex lives and not only our femininity and feminine expression, but actually our entire lives and our capacity to create the lives of our dreams, of our highest visions are incredibly linked with our sexuality. So you might see me in the beautiful mountains here, feeling the support, the power of this place. I am in love with these mountains. It's very challenging, it's very intense on many levels. And also, lately I've been in a really powerful process with my own beloved. Here, held by the mountains, we are going very deep into yet new levels of our relationship. So that's the vibe from which I am emerging. I've been completely immersed into our cocoon and now popping up here to connect with you. And the reason also why I want to bring up this conversation is because I really want you to know that my very powerful program, The Deep Feminine, is opening up pretty soon, and currently the wait list is open. So for the next couple of days you can still join the wait list if you haven't done so yet. Get yourself into it, because the people on the wait list are going to benefit from the lowest rates and also from some additional bonuses. And so The Deep Feminine is my program in which we are going into the deep feminine, into the deep feminine sexuality from which the feminine can never be separated. And we can do as much conversation, we can do as much therapy as we want, we can do so much exploration on so many levels, but if we are not, hi Yosif, thank you, if we are not addressing sexuality, forget it, we will never be able to fully arrive into the depth of the feminine. Why? Because I can tell you that it takes me about a minute and a half to identify whether a person that I'm talking to has sex. Literally, that's how fast it is. And another 30 seconds to identify whether the quality of sex that they have is good or not. Because you might have heard me speak about the sacred slut, and so many people say, oh, well, I have her, because they've had many sexual partners, because they feel really open sexually, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. The fact that you're having sex does not say anything about your sexual openness. A lot of people, the way they approach sexuality is just like rubbing genitals against each other, just coming together and just like, okay, let's go for it, let's do it. It's nothing to do with actually what sacred sexuality is. And these kind of people, which are sexually open, they stand out in the crowd. You know, when you see those women, men as well, but now talking specifically about women, when you see those women that men are naturally gravitating towards them, men are naturally bringing them offerings, taking care of them, these women look nourished, they look well taken care of, they look comfortable in their skin, they look confident. You look at these women and you're like, what's her secret? Is she just very confident? Like, you know, was she brought up really well and that's how she will develop her confidence, and that's how she has everything, or seems like everything in her life? And I can tell you, these women are erotically embodied. Erotically embodied means connected to the body, connected to the sex, therefore connected to all of life, therefore connected to the core of who she is, therefore resting in a safety that is not about physical safety of a feminine body. There is a deeper safety that we get to discover, and this safety is what actually enables us to open erotically, because if we don't have that safety, forget it. Forget it, because it's unsafe to be a woman. It's just unsafe to be a woman, just plain simple. I've had a recent, many of you know, very intense experience when I directly experienced how freaking unsafe it is to be a woman. Because we are small, because we are vulnerable, because we are soft, because we are receptive. It's unsafe. And at the same time, the most radical thing in it all is that it is very safe. Eternally, fundamentally safe. And it's only up to us to discover this depth of safety. And it's only when we discover this depth of safety, then can we talk about sacred slut and real erotic liberation. If you are walking around the world expecting other people to provide safety for you because they behave properly, we cannot talk about open, unashamed eroticism. As long as it's dependent on someone else, as long as you are there saying, oh, well, this topic is not for me because I don't have a partner, you forgot yourself. You forgot what it's all about. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. And there's no one on this planet that you can outsource the power of being you. It's about you. And only you. Whether you're in a relationship and you feel fulfilled or somewhat fulfilled, whether you're single and you feel fulfilled or somewhat fulfilled or not fulfilled because you're waiting for the one, you get to start right here. Wherever you are right now, this is your precious starting point. And from here, you get to go so deep and so high. And I truly, truly wish that for you. What we discover as women is that we have a mechanism that closes us off, and we know it. You know it instantly. Right now, listening to me, you know it instantly. You know if you are close to life. How you know? Because you know how it felt not to be close to life. Maybe you've had a glimpse. Maybe you've had an experience. Maybe you've had something that shook you out of everything you've taken yourself to be, where you really felt a yes to life, a life of sincerity, of totality, of openness, of trust. And then you know if it's here or not, right now. And even women who have considered themselves to be so open and they've done so much work on themselves, also such women get to go through periods of closing. It's actually inevitable. I've been doing this work for over 13 years now, and I also tend to close. And then what do I do when I tend to close? I go to the practices. I do the work. I connect to my body. And I open up again to a completely new heights. And then remembering myself 5 years ago, 7 years ago, thinking I'm so open and I'm on top of the world, I'm like, you had no idea, kid. Because truly there is no limit to this openness. If you read my book, Liberation to Orgasm, you know that I identify complete orgasm with a state of oneness with God. A state, not an experience, a state. So, are you there? If not, you have some work to do. And this is beautiful and fascinating and a never-ending journey. And never imagine that you know that you've arrived, because you never arrive. And that's the beauty of human life. That's the beauty of human incarnation that we've all chosen. So, when this closing happens, what do we do? You start to freak out and you go like, oh my gosh, I used to be so open, I used to be the wild woman, where did she go? Where is my sacred slut? Or you try to override your closing and then just open by force, and because you have been having a headache and you have been avoiding sex for so long now, so you start to feel guilty, and then you go like, okay, well, let's do this because he says he doesn't feel connected, and then when we have some sex, then he starts to feel connected, so let's just open and like override the body, my heart, and everything. Who has done that? Raise your hand. Let me know in the comments. Be honest about this, because I can tell you from all my experience, 100% of women have done that. 100%, without any single exception, women have experienced being entered prematurely, going into sex when we were not ready, not willing to listen to ourselves, and not willing to show up for our own boundaries because we did not know and did not dare to listen to our own boundaries. 100% of women have done that. It's time we own it, and it's time we undo the damage, because it creates the damage. Because, I see all of you, of course, we all, even in women in the most loving relationships, time to own it and not outsource it and say, all men are bad, men don't feel, he doesn't feel me, where is he, I don't feel him. Enough. Time to take your power back. And realize that it's only you, it's only about you. Everything in your life is all about you, it's all your creation, it's all you. There's nobody else but you in your life. So, when the closing happens, what do we do? What do we do? If you say not 100%, means you did not listen to yourself enough, you did not study yourself deep enough, and you haven't experienced what a true opening truly means, which I profoundly wish to every single woman to experience. What a profound, true opening really means. When you get to know that, it's a point of no return. There is no turning back from that. So when the closing happens, what do we do? If not override it and just not get like impatient with ourselves, like, okay, can I already open, like it's been a month, it's been a week, it's been a year, it's been 10 years, however long. What do we do when the closing happens? Turn inwards. We turn inwards, we turn inwards, we turn inwards. And there is space for different modalities. However, in the modality that I work with, I know that this modality is the direct path, because we go directly to the place where the closing happens, and this is your vagina, your yoni, your vulva, your pussy. However you want to call her, all these names are beautiful, as long as you choose them consciously, and you don't just say down there, but you have a relationship. If you don't, you get to create this relationship. If you wonder why would you create a relationship with your yoni, welcome to my world. For sure, you get to create a relationship with your yoni, because for most women, let's be honest, my vagina is like a city in China, but it is not. It's right here in your body. It's the seat of your femininity, my woman. It's the seat. It's where your femininity begins and never ends. So do you dare to open to her and fall in love with her and see her as beautiful and wise? So we get to establish that contact, and not only establish that contact, but really actively work on deepening that relationships, on deepening that connection, on also actively working on her and receiving her messages, receiving her information, receiving everything she gets to tell us. And there are things she has to tell us, because the yoni absorbs and holds memories that you don't want to remember. Everything that the mind forgets, the yoni stores. And what kind of memories that does the Yoni store? In some cases, it is pretty straightforward. There was an abuse. Either you remember it or you don't remember. Sometimes when we are little children, babies, we may experience some kind of energetic invasion, doesn't even have to be physical, which registers in our system like abuse. So this kind of stuff is still there. We also absorb frustration. We also absorb all the situations in which we didn't feel met, we didn't feel understood, we felt betrayed, we felt abandoned. So all of that is stored in her. And when you work on her directly, you don't even need to talk and process all those things. Because when you start to kind of start to understand with your mind all the things that your body stores, and it feels like, oh my gosh, there is so much work to do. How? Well, again, direct path is my invitation. There you don't even need to understand all that much. All you do is you look very deeply into the Yoni. And one of the modalities that I work with, and in the Deep Feminine we go very deeply into it, it's called Yoni de-armouring. So which implies that the Yoni has an armor, and armor is exactly what creates that closing, what creates the frozenness, where it's like your heart is not online, where you're not fully giving your gift, when you're not fully radiant, when you're not one of these women who are just walking and you just instantly see them and you recognize them and you see their radiance and you see how they are shining the gift of the feminine heart just by existing. When your heart is closed, it means there is a frozenness in your feminine energy. It means there is an armor in your body and an armor in your Yoni. Yoni stores everything. And when we work directly on her, you really get to open up that energy without even needing to give it all to the mind. That's the amazing thing with Tantra, that we don't even actually need to give it to the mind. It's not about therapy. Although I love psychology and I have such deep understanding of psychology, the energetics are even deeper. The work on the energy is even deeper. You get to be free from the stories. You get to be free from explaining, well, I react like this because I remember how I was abandoned when I behaved like that, when I opened my heart so much. I remember this man left me when I opened so completely. He chose someone else. You don't need to explain that anymore. You can be free from that. Seriously, 100%. You get to be free from these explanations and these validations of why you behave in certain ways, because you get to undo the damage on the very source level, the level of your sexuality. And sexual energy, when it's liberated, it's the energy of life. It flows through your whole body. It shines through your heart. It shines as your willpower to do the things you want to do in your life. It shines as your highest vision for your life. It shines as pure connection with the divine. This is all sexual energy, the energy that created us, the energy, the very reason why we are here, sexual energy. So when we work on that level, it's so profound. It's so, so profound. So yes, we get to be free from that armor. Yes, and we get to have the tools that whenever armor comes back in, because it happens. I'm telling you, in my own life, in lives of the most sexually open women, there still come situations which activate really, really deep fundamental patterns, and then the armor comes back on, and then you start to experience yourself frozen again. And then guess what? We have the tools. We have the work that we get to come back to, that we get to work with. We get to have the support with that. And the Deep Feminine, my program, is exactly that kind of level of support. Every single woman, I really wish this program for. Every single woman. Because this work, I've been developing this work for many years. I've taught a lot of people that you may have learned or may have studied from me. You may have studied from me in my different courses. But with the Deep Feminine, what I am doing is I'm always bringing a new angle. I've run this program last November, December. This time it's going to be completely different. So even if you've done it back then and it was amazing, the feedback was phenomenal. There was so much openness, so much adoration from the partners, so much. I got unleashed, so many radiant hearts got unleashed, so many women came back to love, came back to life. This time it's going to be different because that's the way I run my stuff. Like, I come as I am. I come with my current knowledge. I come with my current experience. I come with what currently excites me, what currently activates me. So I come with that. Therefore, in this round of the Deep Feminine, we're going to do some work that we didn't do last time. And as I said, the wait list for the Deep Feminine is open. Just a couple more days. You have just like 2 days or so to sign on for the wait list, and then you're gonna be the first one to receive the invitation, and you're gonna have the best conditions for it. So, beloveds, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for receiving me from this gorgeous, gorgeous place. I'm just surrounded by mountains, really, really powerful place. The Deep Feminine will be phenomenal. And I love you so much. I really wish for you to establish this profound relationship with your Yoni, with your sexuality, because through that, this world becomes a better place, because you tap into the woman you came here to be. Exactly through that, because you tap into the seat of your femininity. And I wish that for you profoundly. I love you so much. I'll see you inside of the waitlist.